Welcome back to Court TV Live. We are continuing to follow that breaking news out of Hinesville, Georgia, where convicted killer Nicholas Kassotis was just sentenced to life without parole for the death of his wife, Mindi. This former prosecutor now prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And he also served in our Navy. He had quite the resume, and it just took that jury an hour and 12 minutes to return guilty across the board. Joining us now live from outside the courthouse, we have Court TV legal correspondent Kelly Kraft. And I understand that you've spoken to or have the jury foreperson.
Hi there, Matt and Julia. Yes, we don't always get an opportunity to hear from the jurors after the verdict, but we do have this opportunity to speak to the jury foreman. He'll come over and talk with us now. This is Kai Andrew, and so he served as the foreman of this jury. Kai, thank you so much for talking with us. You came back rather quickly, the jury did, with a verdict. Right. Walk me through it.
Well, the jury, we all sat there and took the time to really diverge, actually indulge in all the evidence that took place in this 2-week trial. And we as a jury, we already knew that after so long of actually taking in all the information, all the evidence, and everyone, all the witnesses that came up and spoke their piece, and we took notes, and as we got into it, it's not necessarily the fact that it was a short period of time. It was more that we were together on a joint decision.
The defendant took the stand. Nicholas Kassotis took the stand, and he spoke directly to you, saying that he did not do this.
Well, I will say this. If you do something wrong, like if you take the cookie out the cookie jar, you're going to tell your mom and dad that you took the cookie? That's all I can say about that aspect.
Did anyone talk about Jim McIntyre? We heard a lot about the mystery man, Jim McIntyre, in this case. What were the discussions, if any, and what role did he play in your decision?
Jim McIntyre, the mere fact that you really can't produce any type of identification of who he truly was. I mean, of course, there's multiple people out here that are named Jim McIntyre, but not the Jim McIntyre in this case. It doesn't help. It really didn't help his case. It really didn't help this case. So whoever Jim McIntyre is, it's not possible to find him.
Was there anything that defense counsel said, or the defendant himself, that did resonate? I know the defense counsel talked about his client being an attorney himself. He served our country, so a military man. He was a JAG officer. Why sit down and talk with investigators and give up your constitutional right to remain silent if you really did do this? He freely spoke and gave his story. Did anything resonate with you at all, thinking maybe he didn't do it, or maybe he is telling the truth?
When he did give up his constitutional rights and did talk about his side, I don't believe as a jury we could dismiss that. We definitely took that into consideration. We definitely considered the statements by him and the willingness he had to actually discuss what took place. But when it really comes down to it, as a jury, we have to make our decision off of the evidence. There's no way around that.
Did anything in regard to the DNA, no DNA here? Defense counsel talked about that.
No DNA is, it's a lot harder to justify just because you don't have DNA that the person is innocent, but at the same breath, you can't say that they're not guilty. So
there were some really tough pictures to take a look at when they were shown to the jury. The screens were turned off inside the courtroom, so we could not see them. Right. How difficult were those? I'm certain they were very difficult to take a look at. And did that in a way, because it was such a gruesome case, is it a matter of, well, someone is guilty of this crime clearly, and this is the man the prosecutor says did it? And how much of a role did those gruesome pictures play in making a decision, if any?
Well, we got to remember, this is somebody's daughter, this is somebody's sister, this is somebody's cousin, and this is also somebody's aunt. This is a human being, and they should be treated as such. But what happened to her is unspeakable. There's nothing that can be said that any type of human being deserves that type of treatment.
Sure.
And that's kind of all I have to say on that one.
It's very difficult for Mindi's family, her family inside the courtroom, very emotional, as well as the defendant's family. Now, during sentencing, they spoke and they said that although they respect the jury's decision, they disagree with it, and they say that their son is not capable of this and did not do this. You sat in there for sentencing.
That is their child. You can't tell a parent how they feel about their child. They see their child and anybody's child in a different light from how you see their child. So I have nothing to say against that.
Motive. Prosecutors do not have to prove motive in a case. But here, there were a few different theories floated. Did you discuss anything in regard to that? The prosecutor said in closing, it's possible that Mindi finally told him that she actually was not pregnant. That made him mad. That's one of the things that they said, the prosecutor said in closing. Did you talk about theories?
We definitely did. Like I said, it might have felt like a short upcoming to this decision, but for us, it's been weeks. For us, we've pondered on this and took notes, and then when we were finally able to discuss as a group, as a jury, we really got to the point where the theories didn't match up with the evidence. So if we're trying to, like a scientist, if you have a theory, I mean, you still got to test it, right?
Sure.
So the evidence didn't suffice to the theories, and overall the decision that was made.
Yeah, and obviously you found the evidence was sufficient enough to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
You were the foreman. How did that come about?
Unanimously. There was many people that obviously on the jury that could have been selected, and I'm happy that the jury team selected me, and it's a great honor. I'm happy that justice was served today.
Well, Kai, thank you so much for your time. Matt and Julia, if there's any questions that you want me to ask him, I'm happy to do so. Otherwise, we can send it back to you in the studio.
Well, Kelly, one quick question, and that's about this being a military town here in Hinesville, Georgia. How did he feel about this defendant having that military background and then sitting inside of this courtroom being accused of what he's accused of?
One of our anchors back in the studio wanted to ask you about this being a military town. Throughout this case, we see military men and women walking in and out of the courtroom. He, the defendant, a military man as well, in addition to being a lawyer, in addition to having an LLM from Georgetown. How did all of that factor into the decision, being that he served our country?
It really factored in the matter of being more in detail and precise of coming to the decision as a jury. We did consider that he was a very intelligent man. He is a very intelligent man. We did consider that he did get his, like you said, his law degree from Georgetown, and that we live in a military town. We still do understand that what is right and what's wrong is wrong.
Yes. Matt, anything?
Yeah, Kelly, our thanks to this jury foreperson and all of those that served this community and listened to this graphic trial. I was just wondering, the initial vote, was it guilty across the board? I mean, they were deliberating for an hour and 12 minutes. They had a lengthy jury form. What was the initial vote, or did they have to, talk about things on certain charges?
Matt wants to know, another anchor back in the studio, in regard to when you came back to the jury room, when your deliberations just began, just started, did you take a vote initially, and what was the vote initially, if you would like to share that with us?
We didn't take a vote initially. When we got back to the jury room, it was unanimous. Like, we can consider all the facts. We went over all the counts. We really broke down every count and read everything that was there, all the evidence that that provided the verdict that we got to. It really wasn't one initial on one side or the other. We came to it as a collective.
Kai, was there anyone that came up and said, is it possible that he didn't do it?
No. We all collectively came to this decision.
Okay. Kai, Andrew, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. Appreciate you serving on the jury as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, Matt and Julia, we'll send it back to you.
Kelly Craft, excellent interview, and really our thanks to that jury foreperson, because speaking to someone on the jury is always so revealing to us.